You're listening to an East Coast Guild podcast. Check us out at eastcoastguild.com. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of That's No Moon. We apologize for missing last week, but we were just too busy and had stuff going on. This week, though, it's perfect. We get to talk about episodes 5 and 6 of The Bad Batch. So this is your spoiler warning. If you don't want to be spoiled by anything that we're going to talk about, run for the hills and then come listen to this like 2 or 3 times afterwards to help us out. We'd really appreciate it. But if you're new to the show, this is a call-in show, so that way, at the very end, we have time for questions based on the topic that we're talking about or anything in the Star Wars universe. If you would like to talk in those, check the show notes, or if you're here at the live stream, do the Discord command, jump on in, we'll pull you in towards the end, so that way we can talk to you about some of the questions that you might have.
I guess chat's that way.
Yeah, chat's in one of the directions, but it doesn't show up on our screen. So, thank you guys so much for being here. Oh my gosh, it has been 2 weeks. We were talking about this a little bit in the pre-show. Like, we both missed the show last week. Like, it was like kind of sad not to have it.
I feel like I can't fully process what happens in each week until I like talk about it.
We have to talk about it, and so it's becoming that thing. And so really excited because we had a really good episode yesterday.
Yes.
And we had an alright episode last week.
Yeah, last week was necessary to set up for, I'm guessing, the rest of the season. They're going to be with Sid and her little
I think that's the big thing.
Gang.
Because going to see Sid and seeing, basically they got put on a mission to go rescue some child. They weren't told what the child was. And it wasn't Yoda, it wasn't Baby Yoda, so...
That would have been too much.
That would have been way. If that had been Grogu, that I would have been actually upset.
Although I would die for an animated Grogu.
I would love it, just not yet. It's not yet. Anyway, the child they had to go save was a Rancor. Which
I loved that twist.
I loved that twist as well. Which I will say, in my analysis, without going and doing any research, which is what I usually do after I watch the episode. I type up a quick little blurb on how I felt about the episode, and I post it to Twitter. If you guys are looking, my Twitter's down below. And I'll be honest, I'm happy that I'm wrong. That it's not the same Rancor that Luke kills, but I also really wanted to be attached to that Rancor that Luke kills.
That's because I am who I am. The first thing I googled when it was over was, what was the name of the Rancor in Return of the Jedi? And I guess they named him in the second Aftermath book.
Yeah.
They put in there that his name's Patissa and not Muchi, so we're good on Luke not killing Muchi.
I guess we're okay with it.
However, that means that Jabba had like a herd of Rancors, or at least 2.
He had at least he had at least 2. Muchi very well could have also been the mother of, the other one.
No one's sure.
This is 19 years beforehand. So.
No one's sure, but Luke did not kill Muchi.
No.
That's what we have determined.
All we knew. And so they did meet Sid, Sid's an informant, basically a bounty hunter person.
Kind of like a rogue bounty hunter guild.
Yes.
Without maybe as much killing.
It's it feels a lot more. Well, she used to be used by the Jedi, which is really good. That was good for the Jedi because that's a pretty nonchalant. I could have seen, Obi-Wan talking to Sid.
And I feel like that connection may come into play later because it looks like we might be getting the batch in the rebellion.
Oh, yeah, we might.
Maybe.
That'd be pretty cool.
At least Hunter. We'll see. There's a lot to happen.
There is a lot to happen. I'm interested to see it all because, especially we're going to talk about it when we talk about episode 6, but the figure at the very end, I really want to talk and speculate about that.
Yes.
Because that's definitely matters. It took... If I didn't have other stuff going on, it would have taken up a lot more of my energy for me to not be like, Leah, did you see it? Do you know? And you'd have been like, what? Because you watched it today and you didn't watch it last night. I watched it last night and I was like, oh.
Yeah, so. I somehow I have to give props to people on Twitter for not spoiling anything with the Bad Batch. I feel like it's a lot worse for Mandalorian and for even WandaVision. Like every week, I have to just avoid Twitter all Friday because people can't keep their mouths shut.
I think it's because this is animated. To tell you the truth, I think it's because this is animated. It's a kids show. We're saving ourselves for that. Now, and I will note, like, I post my stuff, but I'm like, I keep mine I use a twit longer. I do it in a way that is good for people, so that way, like, if you don't want to see spoilers, you don't have to see it. So if you're going to post your spoilers,
at least put them behind something.
Post them in a blog and then post the blog link. Post them in a twit longer. You know, that's...
Anyway, the Batch in
it was
episode
really
5.
Cool to see that stuff because, like, Omega got sent back to the ship. Pretty normal.
I will say in this episode particularly, Omega started to annoy me because she doesn't listen. Which Anakin doesn't listen either, but like,
he's capable.
And he's helpful when he doesn't listen.
Like, Anakin doesn't listen and stuff still gets done. Omega doesn't listen, and then she releases a Rancor, and 2 gets captured. So like everybody almost dies. Like if Wrecker wasn't as strong as he was, they would have been chained, and a Rancor would have ran up and killed them all. Like,
yep.
Now I don't think that would have actually happened because that wouldn't have been good for the TV show, obviously. But
she got a little annoying to where they keep telling her to stay somewhere, and she did have a good reason for leaving the ship this time. I'll give her that, but she still wasn't helpful.
Not at all.
She did learn about slavery, though. She's learning about how scary the world is outside of Kamino. The universe
is incredibly terrible.
Yep.
It's very true. And it was very interesting.
I liked the scene where she learned about it, though, because it wasn't like, well, let's justify why that people do that. She's like, no, that's terrible. People shouldn't be property. And I'm like...
We were all like, yup.
But you grew up on Kamino, so that's how they treat people.
Yeah, but she's also 8, you know, like...
True. Her world is a lot less gray, but...
It's nice to see the black and white because, like, obviously, you know, you're throwing stuff in there to, like, make the kids feel certain ways too, you know, like, because it is still a kid's show. It's trying to teach a lesson. That's how Dave Filoni writes these, is to write them as kids shows and how he wants them to be produced. He said that before. And so that is a very big, like, part is like the clones also were not supposed to be viewed as property.
Even though they called them property in the previous or 2 episodes prior.
They did it behind closed doors, though. Like, they don't say it to the clones. Like, I think there was one time in Clone Wars where they got a little uppity about that, too. Because it then came into the idea of our clones people. Which is very interesting. It's like, if you program a computer, does the computer now become a person?
Yep.
You know, because with they having the chips and everything like that, which... Of course, you know, our buddy Omega, our buddy Wrecker gets smacked in the head, so his is starting to become, you know, working even more so.
That scene was stressful.
Oh, yeah, in episode 6?
Yes, but we're not there yet.
We're not there yet, but we're going to be there soon. That one was, oh, man. Anyway, so they had their crash, then they ended up, oh, wait, I'm looking at the last episode stuff.
Yeah, they didn't crash in this episode. They were just tied up.
They had the Rancor stuff.
The cat people with the laser whips, because I don't know what species they are, but they're the cat people with the laser whip. Who we apparently last saw in Clone Wars, doing this exact same thing of slavery. Zygerians.
Yep, they're Zygerians. And... Yeah, we saw it before. It's just... It was interesting seeing Muchi get out. Because then you see Muchi getting out, which, by the way, baby Rancor, adorable.
The best scene was Was
No,
Muchi and
Muchi!
Muchi and Wrecker just punching each other when they're so tired. They're just like,
That was so good. I just loved. I loved the part when it was like, the guys. They're like, "We got you, Muchi," and he's like, "No, Muchi, Muchi," and it's like pointing at the Rancor, and they're like, "Are you freaking kidding me? We gotta get that."
It would have been easier if Omega hadn't let it out, but they also may have died. So
yeah, it would have been tough either way. But yes, no, I did love that, like the fighting of it. I didn't like that Wrecker basically got, seemingly knocked out by the tail of the monster. At least I could like justify it more, but I still didn't like it.
I feel like they keep knocking him out. And I listened to an episode of a podcast that talked about when Fennec Shan knocked him out, to just show that like brute strength only gets you so far. Like Wrecker's strong, but he's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the batch.
I get it. But he is also altered to be that strong. So like he doesn't have to be smart. He didn't have to win the fight. But I also don't think that he had to lose in 2 seconds.
Yeah. He only got a 30-minute show.
Which we talked about. They don't have to. Yeah,
this week I was like, how much time is left? And I checked, and it was only 15 minutes. And I was like, no, so much has to happen in 15 minutes.
So much had to happen. I felt the same way. I was like, oh my God, are you serious?
I thought maybe they'll do a longer one this week because there's a lot happening here. No,
didn't happen at all. So anyway, that
Omega gets her little
she gets her bow
that
thing.
We saw.
That we see in the next episode some more. And yeah, no, Wrecker and Muchi basically wail on each other until Muchi passes out and Wrecker's like, please just sleep.
Yeah, and then he just kind of like...
Yeah, Muchi falls asleep and then he just like falls on her and he's like, oh my gosh. And Hunter's like, hey, you did a good job.
And then they just go on their ship and go back to Sid.
Yep.
Where we see Bib Fortuna waiting for this baby Rancor.
Oh, would you look at that?
I was not expecting that. Like, even when they were speaking Huttese on the holo call, I was still like, oh, that's cool. And then he showed up and I was like, wait.
So, the second that they showed him and you saw like the bottom half of his face, I was like, that's Bib Fortuna. I was like, are they getting a Rancor? I was like, is that the child? Like, what is going on here? Why do the Hutts need a child? And that's all the baby Rancor. And I was like, maybe it wasn't Bib. And then they saw the Rancor, and I was like, that was Bib Fortuna. Is that the Rancor? So I was
most people had that reaction.
I saw him, and I was like, look at him. And Muchi was so happy to see him, and I was like, oh, that's weird.
Hey, they at least... The people in Jabba's palace loved their Rancors, the caretakers of them.
Yeah, that's very true.
They were not mistreated.
No, they weren't. They were treated very well. And I think that's good as well, It's good to know.
No animal cruelty. Jabba is a lot of things, but an animal cruel to animals is not one of them.
Well, no. Jabba's not a terrible guy.
Just a crime lord. That's fine.
Yeah, he's just a crime lord, normal stuff.
Do we want to go through the Easter eggs for episode 5?
Mm-hmm.
So Sid is voiced by Cheers star Ray Perlman, which is the 3rd Cheers veteran to join Star Wars, which I think is just weird.
Hey, everybody will know your name.
They will. The name Sid is also the latest in a string of Final Fantasy characters that have been brought into Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, that was the guy who had the airship.
I only know him from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
He's the guy
He's the same guy.
that operates the store. Yeah, I only know Final Fantasy characters from Kingdom Hearts.
That's okay. I got you. I can bridge it both because I know both.
We got Jabba and Bib Fortuna. Bib Fortuna is voiced by Matthew Wood, who played him in The Phantom Menace and in The Mandalorian. So props to him for getting brought back into the franchise.
Very good.
like 20 years later.
Yeah.
Ordman, the planet that they're on is Ord Mantell. It comes up a lot in Legends as this like seedy, scummy place of crime and villainy. And in Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo mentions it where he ran into a bounty hunter there. It's one of the planets you can visit in the Old Republic, Shadows of the Empire. Like I said, we last saw the Zygerian slavers in the Clone Wars episode Kidnapped, where they try to buy, I think it's Padme, as a slave, and she's like, nah, I'm gonna kill you all. And that's it for episode 5.
Awesome.
Not many Easter eggs happening in that one.
No, not really. I'm looking at it in the Old Republic era right now.
It does not look like a fun place to live. It reminds me a lot of the lower levels of Coruscant, and
yes.
not in a good way.
It is very, very similar, yeah. It kind of reminds me of like going to like Mos Eisley.
It's the Nocturne Alley of the Star Wars universe.
Yep. All right.
But yeah, so not much. I mean, it was fine of an episode, but not much happened in the overall scheme of things. We still didn't see Crosshair. Still didn't see him this week. We don't know what he's up to.
No, we have no idea what he's up to. We have not seen or heard anything about the chip in 2 weeks.
Nope.
Well, you know what? We already,
not
you guys know spoilers. We haven't explicitly been told anything in 3 weeks about the chip. Now, because of episode 6, we also didn't get anything explicitly about it outside of what happens with Wrecker, which we'll talk about. We don't get any, like, there's no conversation about it or anything like that. We don't know if text scanner is done or anything like that. Did you freeze? Oh, technical difficulty, fun stuff. Yup, internet cut out. All right, so awkward turtle. I'll keep going. Man, that's some awkward right there. So let me see here. Where was I? Lost it. At least we tried. Yeah, at least we tried. Let's see. So I just lost my spot. I lost what I was even talking about. It's okay. We saw a lot that was going on. And all of those things. Tech scanner. Yes, tech. We don't know how his scanner is going or if it's working or anything like that. We don't know where the chip is. We only saw the stuff that happened with Wrecker, which wasn't great. So there was that, which is kind of annoying. Let's see here. But yeah, no, I'm a little aggravated because there's nothing. We don't know anything about the chip right now. We don't know where it's going. We don't know anything about it. We're hoping so. It hasn't been explained later at all in the new episode. Like in the episodes we've seen, it has not been explained yet. We have not had any explanation about the stuff that's been going on. So we have absolutely no idea what this chip is doing or anything like that. Well, we know what it does because it basically, it's the good soldiers follow orders chip. And we don't know what's going on with it. So I want to wait for Leah to come back so we can talk more about it. We just haven't seen anything about it yet. So I guess I'll start talking about the episode. Because it's the reason why they followed Order 66 and everything like that. Is that chip in their head. So, starts off by doing some crossbow lessons. Echo's trying to teach Omega how to use the crossbow that she got. And basically talking about how, you know, she's got to get stronger and that she has to tune out all distractions. And if she can do that, then she'll be able to actually go and use the crossbow better and do amazing and awesome things. So that part's pretty cool, and stuff like that. Then they get this job. It's the Corellian job. They basically had to go and get a old, like, crap. They had to get an old Intel droid's head, which was really neat. Like, it was cool to see them go and try to get the Intel droid's head, but they had to go do that and get that. They end up going and they see the Martez, the two Martez sisters, Trace and Rafa, which we saw them in Clone Wars. They were the ones that were with Ahsoka at the beginning of season 7, I think, or beginning of season 6. I'm gonna double check right now because Rafa, when was the first appearance? First appearance was Gone Without a Trace in the Clone Wars. I think was season 7. It was it was season 6. That's right. It was season 6. It was while Ahsoka was running. So it was season 6 that we saw them for the first time. In Clone Wars, which was really cool to see them back again because they're trying to smuggle stuff now. That's what Rafa and Trace are doing, and they're trying to do that to help the rebellion, which is what Leah was talking about earlier. Was like how the rebellion's doing these things, and that they're trying to basically do all that, which is really neat. I thought it was a really cool way to go and play through it. Was that we're basically trying to help getting the intel to the rebellion so that way they can do that. And so they tried to they took all the info from the tactical droid's head. Tech did that. He downloaded it onto one of his things. So he had all the info that he needed just in case, so they could both have it and it wasn't a problem. It was pretty neat. Now, they did also have fighting from the police droids, which was very interesting. There were these police droids protecting the area. They were fighting them and all this stuff, and a lot of that stuff happens as well. Let me see. I don't know how much else there is about it other than the stuff that happened with Wrecker, because in the end they basically give the intel to the Martez sisters, so that way they can go drop it off to the rebellion. And yeah, that was really it. There wasn't too much else than that. Was this batch mentioned in the Clone Wars? Yes, the Bad Batch was in season 7 of the Clone Wars. I hate... Why? Well, no, okay. This is a normal time to be mowing, but I just don't like that Randy's doing it. Because I have to hear it through everything. So, the Bad Batch was in season 7, which was pretty normal. And cool stuff there. But, I don't know. There wasn't too much special stuff going on. There was, at the end, there was a special hologram that was initiated, that Rafa was telling the individual that they met some people with a squadron of rogue clones, and then she adds that she knows where to find them, and that the person might want to know where to find them, which I want to talk and speculate about, because I think that could very possibly be either Ahsoka Tano or Rex. Those are my two opinions. I don't really know who else would need to know, unless it was Crosshair, which would really suck. That would be really bad. And then there's this stuff that happened with Wrecker, because he basically was swinging on something to go help people, and he smacked his head on something, and his chip kind of pseudo-activated for a little bit, and he basically did the good soldiers follow orders kind of mentality, and it was not great at all. It was really bad, actually. So it was pretty cool. Your money would be Rex? Yes. I haven't seen any of Rex in here yet. So I'd be interested to see that. Oh, hi, welcome back.
I'm back.
I ran through the base of the episode. I kind of talked about it here and there.
Okay.
We need to talk about the person at the end and the Wrecker incident. I just started talking about the Wrecker incident. I tried to push it off as long as I could, because I wanted you to be back for it. So.
Yeah, I went to come back and Discord goes, okay, time to install 5 updates. And I was like, you need to do that now?
We don't need this right now. So
yes, so the wrecker incident.
He smacked his head and his chip kind of activates and he has his moment of good soldiers follow orders. I was freaking out.
He just says, doesn't he just say good soldiers follow? Like, he doesn't get the whole phrase out.
Good soldiers. Yeah, he might have just said good soldiers follow.
And then, he hears passed out. Crosshair's voice. Which is creepy.
I missed that. Oh.
It's like a distorted thought sound, and it definitely sounds like Crosshair.
Would not surprise me. So we got that to look forward to because Wrecker's about to flip.
And none of the other batch noticed this at all. Like, they're just busy fighting their own fight.
They were too,
and no one's noticing that Wrecker's just like lying on the floor having an existential crisis.
Well, they did try to reach out to him and he had passed out.
Yeah, but they're just
tried a couple times. They're like, Wrecker. Oh, whatever. You know, and it's like, then he showed up.
They didn't push it too hard.
But my thing is, we still don't know what happened with Tech's scanner. I talked about this a little bit while Leah had magically disappeared. But I think
Tech just gave up on fixing.
Yeah, well, we just don't know anything about it. Like, we haven't been told anything about it. And that's kind of annoying to me because it was such a like important thing to have done that it had to be brought up in the episode, and then you never hear about it.
Ignored it. Yeah. I'm hoping that because we're so close now that next week is the week that we come back to this arc, but
well,
I'm not the show writer because the last thing I expected to even happen this week was to see the Martinez sisters again. And they just showed up and I was like, she took her helmet off and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I know that face.
I saw the Martez sisters and I was like,
Martez sisters.
It's all good. I had to go back and double check because you said it and I was like, oh crap, did I say it wrong? Because I
literally have it open right here next to me,
but seeing them, I saw Rafa and I was like, she looks familiar.
Well, when she said Rafa, when Trey said Rafa, I was like, I know that name. They were in season 7.
They were also in season 6 was their first appearance. I did double check it because I wasn't sure when they first showed up. Because they showed up when Ahsoka ran away from the Jedi Temple for all that fun stuff. If you guys haven't seen Clone Wars, go see Clone Wars.
Go watch Clone Wars. But yeah, so who knows what they're gonna do next week? Because every week I'm like, this is the week they're gonna do this thing, and then they never do that thing.
Well, it's just like me, right? How many weeks in a row have I said, you know, Rex is gonna show up this week? Oh, Rex is gonna show up this week. I think that they talked to Ahsoka at the end. I think I think that's who Rafa was talking to.
The way that she acted, like as soon as the hologram appeared, I literally went, it's Bail. It's got to be Bail.
Bail wouldn't have been a bad one either.
The way that she acted, though, she doesn't seem happy to see this person. And I think they would have been happy to see Ahsoka.
Yeah.
The tone in her voice was like not happy and kind of felt like they were tattling on someone and not like
that's why I also was thinking it could also have been like somebody from the Empire or it could have been Rex as well.
Well, this article throws Darth Maul into the mix as possibilities. Because at the time, I mean, he's free. Ahsoka let him go during the siege of Mandalore. Rafa seems kind of scared. And at this point, Maul's just chilling, running a crime organization. And so it's very possible he would have wanted to steal the tactical droid's head for info. I don't love this theory, but
disagreement with that is that there was nothing of the Crimson the Crimson whatever he named it. Well, it would have been
too early because it would have been like 6 months into Crimson Dawn.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I was thinking it can't be because like they would have had to show something of they would have had the Crimson Dawn symbol somewhere. Like if it was him, I feel like you would have seen that as an Easter egg somewhere in the episode.
I don't know. Whoever it was, they were not happy to see this hologram of this person, despite having gotten the information that they came to get.
Or they were just very mission professional with him, like, hey, because Rafa wasn't a huge fan of Ahsoka. Trace was. That's her friend. But I mean,
I feel like after their adventure together, though, the relationship between Ahsoka and Rafa was better.
It was better. It also could have been Rex. It could have been, Wolf. It could have been any of the other clones that are running away.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have also been Fennec.
What's an idea?
Like, it's another complete option. There's so many people that it could be at that point. I mean, next week, if it's gonna be Rex or Ahsoka, the chips are gonna be coming out. Which means that it's not gonna be Rex or Ahsoka, because Wrecker needs to flip his lid first.
Yeah, or we get an off week and we go back to Crosshair's story.
I would like that too. I would like that very well.
An episode.
As he's training the Death Troopers.
Yes.
I would also like that a lot. I don't know. I don't really know who to say that it would be or who it wouldn't be. It's just kind of like...
I'd bail, but I don't think it's bail.
I don't think so either. I don't know. I feel like if it was going to be anybody from the Rebellion, it would have been Saw Gerrera. Like,
that's very possible, because I don't think that they would have been happy to see Saw either.
I don't think anybody's happy to see Saw Gerrera. I think the man's a lunatic. It's just everybody wants to fight for what he's fighting for.
No one except baby Jyn Erso is happy to see Saw Gerrera.
That's only at first.
Yeah, well, I mean, once she joins his little clan for like 15 years, she's happy to see him until he betrays her.
Yeah.
Which, read Rebel Rising if you've not read Rebel Rising, because
Rebel Rising. I'm currently
so good.
So we don't have too much more to say on the episode, I don't think, other than that. Like, which does give us a great segue into either answering your guys' questions about Star Wars. If you want to do it live, you guys can jump into the Discord and be our first guest.
Or we babble about books again.
Which is where I was going to go.
I'm still reading Lost Stars. The thing is, she thick.
I am in Thrawn Ascendancy, Chaos Rising.
I have Greater Good next, so...
Which is a very, very good, enjoyable book so far.
Does not have blue pages, and I'm mad about it. But apparently the third one's going to have red edges, so I'll forgive them for this.
Yeah, I was a little upset about that too. But third one comes out this year too.
It does have these sections again.
The memory sections. Yeah,
But they're not blue.
The memories were so interesting though. Like,
they're my favorite part of the first one, because I think it gives a lot of background to Thrawn.
Yes.
Now that I've read the first of the original trilogy, I feel like I'm going to appreciate this more than I appreciated Chaos Rising. But we'll see. I'm all confused on my Thrawn timeline right now, because I'm reading them very out of order. But
Thrawn timeline
it is what it is.
I still love I love Thrawn. I just love Thrawn. I think that he's the only reason I could say that there's good in the Empire. Like, he's
just there so his people don't die.
He's like the only person that I look at and go, you know what? The Empire. I tweeted about it the other. I don't know if you saw this tweet. I started an argument on Twitter.
It sparked quite the debacle.
I was okay with it. But I very much am like, I believe that Thrawn is good in the Empire. I feel like the whole Empire isn't evil. Like, it's like saying that all of England was evil because, the king was improperly taxing us. They didn't have control over that. And like, when you're sitting there doing yourself, you're not like, yes, the king, he's unjust. Like, you're not paying attention. I'm not paying attention to what's happening in California. Does that make me evil? I don't know what's going on in their life. You
should read Lost Stars next, because it pretty much is that.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking like, I understand like, and with Saw Gerrera too, like where his brain's at for it, but there's no reason at this moment to believe that the Empire is evil. And even through, I mean, outside, of course, with the movies, I completely disagree. The movies, I completely disagree. Like, they are set to show you that they're evil. But that is showing you a very one-sided view of the Empire.
At this moment in Bad Batch and in the first Thrawn book, when the Death Star is not operational, yes.
Death Star won't be operational in all of the Thrawn books because it takes place before Rebels and it wasn't operational in Rebels.
It's operational in Lost Stars, and that's when people start having an issue with being in the Imperial Navy.
And see, that's the thing. That completely is okay. But, like, I think and maybe that's why I do need to read Lost Stars next, but, like, that's where my point is.
It's so good.
My point is exactly
it's Claudia
that.
Gray. You're going to love
gosh,
it.
Of course it is! I will add it.
I'm only halfway through.
I will add it because I think that I will get through... Oh, do I want to take time or do I want to go into the second one of Thrawn Ascendancy? I won't have time.
4 months before the next Thrawn Ascendancy book comes out, so...
Well, I'm trying to think. I'm going... Because I got that trip I'm going on. Go ahead and ask it, Diffuse. We'll get to it in just a second. Because I'm taking a trip, which is going to be 12 hours. That's how much I have left in the Thrawn book. So I could do that 6 hours up. Back. 6 hours up and then 6 hours back. But I'm also going over I'm going up 6 hours and then going over 3 or 4 hours to see Panda. So I could finish the Thrawn book then, before the High Republic book comes out.
Oh yeah, because we got 3 of those coming out this month.
Yes. Yes, we do. And so when does the manga come out?
I think that's July 8th. It's a different drop date.
I'm so here for it though.
I'm gonna look it up on Amazon.
I really want to... I hate that they changed it up to having in Wikipedia that I don't have like the High Republic as a thing now.
September 7th. Okay. So you have a very long time.
I gotta figure out what books it is because I've got to buy them because I'm moving next month. So that is something that's going on. Oh, Diffuse is actually gonna like come in and be our first call-in viewer. I completely moved you and it completely destroyed everything. All right, guys, here we go. Our first call-in viewer. Oh man, I'm so excited for this.
I'm so excited.
All right. Oh no, I went to the wrong one. I went to the wrong one. That's on me. Hi. And also,
what happened?
I went to the wrong one. Also, it's going to completely destroy how it looks on YouTube, but it's funny. So, Hi, Diffuse. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Hello.
Welcome. You get to be the first person who does voice stuff on here. Like,
We're so excited.
I am excited, actually. Very excited to ask this question because it's been bugging me, and I believe I asked Kill before, but now that Leah's here, my question is, I saw the ending of Mandalorian where Luke Skywalker walks in after dismantling every single robot in the entire base.
It was beautiful!
And then like there's Baby Yoda. And then all of a sudden, my question is Baby Yoda has Yoda been reincarnated into his younger self, and did Luke willingly knew that he was alive and felt the Force and came to him?
I don't think it's Yoda reincarnated.
I would agree with that.
But he did feel the Force.
That happened when he sat on the beacon.
Meditation circle.
What was that? 2 episodes before when he sat on the beacon? Or 1 episode before?
I think it was 1 episode before, because it's the one that has the big fight with Boba Fett.
Grogu, when he sat on that meditation stone, sent out a signal to all Force users in the galaxy. And that signal was basically, hey, I exist. I need some type of master. It was sent out to all the Jedi. In all honesty, it very well could have been picked up by Palpatine and Vader as well. Well, if they were still alive, right? Because this is after they're dead. But
this is after.
It could have
Palpatine's too busy cloning himself.
Yeah, it could have. Snoke could have felt it as well, for all we know.
Yeah.
Even though I think this is still pre-Snoke, but
this is definitely pre-Snoke. Because I mean,
well, we had 20 years.
So
I don't know.
Then who is this? So this is not then Yoda then.
No,
this is somebody.
No,
who is a creature that's from his homeland.
Yes,
that somehow resembles him.
He was a baby in the temple.
So
at the time of the Youngling massacre.
Yes, there are actually lots of schools of thought on this, and one of them is that Yoda and Yaddle were allowed to have children because their race is so strong in the Force and so not prevalent that exceptions were made. That there are actually like a lot of exceptions that are made. Ki-Adi-Mundi was one of those exceptions as well. He actually had, and actually it's actually one of the reasons I hate him. He had 6 or 7 wives. Like,
ew.
That's not why I hate him, because there's only like 1 male per 100 kids. So like he had like a bunch of wives, but when the Clone War got to his home planet, a lot of them died and he didn't care. That's why I don't like Ki-Adi-Mundi, because he didn't care, because he was so unattached that he just didn't care about if something that should have mattered to him died.
He's also just useless on the Jedi Council at all times. So
don't disagree.
I don't like him either.
But that was a canon example of something that was allowed for the sake of the betterment of your race. So Yoda, and then
that makes sense.
Yeah, Yaddle being on the council. She's on the council in episode 2 or 3.
Yes.
And you can,
but just in one of them.
Yes, you can see her. We don't really know anything that happens to her. We don't know if she took a sabbatical or what. But she, in all honesty, if she was in 2 but not in 3, she could have taken a sabbatical during 3 because she was in a pregnancy with Grogu.
Oh, so that's the name of the child.
50.
Oh.
If Grogu's 50...
If Grogu's 50...
It could have happened in between 2 and 3.
Yeah, I guess that would have...
Or if it would have happened shortly before 2.
What year does Attack of the Clones take place? How many years before the Battle of Yavin?
22.
Well, thank you very much for answering my question.
Hey, no problem. So Grogu, which is the child, is a different being than Yoda.
Yes.
And
also,
Grogu
Attack of the Clones takes place
22 years. BBY.
Yeah, 22 years before Episode 4. So I think he had to have been born before then.
He would have, yeah.
Because it
would have been like 5 or 6. It would have only been 5 or 6 years before that, though.
Yeah.
Because it's 20, 20, and then 9. So it honestly, actually,
earlier.
It could have only been a year before Attack of the Clones, because it's 20 years from Attack of the Clones to Battle of Yavin, and then it was
yes.
Oh no, I'm off. No, that's me being off.
Yeah,
I was adding an extra thing in there. No, so yeah, it would have only been those couple. Yeah, so he would have had to be born Phantom Menace, which is also why people were thinking that it could have also been a dyad in the Force between Anakin and Grogu. That was another theory that came out.
They're gonna come back and just make this dyad thing work, aren't they?
I'm okay with the dyad thing. I think it does work, but Diffuse, thank you for your question nonetheless. I'm glad that we could have answered it for you, bud.
Yes. Thank you. It only works if we get Ben Solo back.
I don't have any problem having more Swolo in my life. Okay?
We'll never be happy until we get Ben Solo back.
Can always have more Swolo. Anyway, yes, it was Grogu's a different being altogether. And Luke heard the call, and in all honesty, Luke was the most logical choice to come and start training Grogu. Because I mean, who else is alive? Maybe Cal Kestis, and we can't find out about Cal Kestis until the trilogy is done for Fallen Order. So it was Ezra or Luke.
And Ezra's off with the space whales, so...
And Ezra's off with the space whales. And, I mean, it could have been Mace Windu. There is a part...
No.
Mace Windu's alive. Mace Windu survived the fall. You can't change my mind. They jumped out of Republic gunships and felt nothing.
He does not
the man is alive.
Grogu, though.
No, he's not training Grogu, but he is alive.
He does not do one training Grogu.
I will argue until I'm dead that he's alive.
I want Samuel L. Jackson to be in The Mandalorian.
I would...
He's the right age.
Absolutely hate it, but yes, it would be amazing.
Just there for like a little bit. Like he pops into Luke's training camp and is like, sup, and then leaves.
He's like, I award you the rank of master. That's what your father couldn't have done. Disappears. Oh, man.
I saw a preview for a movie that he's in yesterday.
Technically, Luke should have never been a master. Luke's never had a Padawan.
I mean, he definitely did not finish his training.
No, he did. He did have Leia became a knight. Leia became a knight, and when she became a knight, he became a master.
Then she said no.
Then she said no to protect Ben and lost Ben because of it. Did I talk to you about the hubris of the Skywalkers? Like, I saw this talk about it on TikTok. And it was like, Anakin wanted to save Padme. So because he chased saving her, she died. The future that was going to come true was because he was going to try to save her. Because he thought, all the Skywalkers think, I'm so powerful, I can stop this thing from happening.
This is accurate. Is that what makes Rey a Skywalker?
Oof. Yes, no.
Sorry. I couldn't help that.
Then
she thought she could... I mean, she did save everyone. But it also makes Ben a Skywalker.
Yes.
It makes him fulfill his Skywalker destiny.
Yeah, because then Luke was like, I saw my pupil turn to the dark side, so I'm going to stop him from doing that. And he caused the turn of Ben. Leia,
he did cause the turn of Ben. I have to blame Luke for that.
Leia goes, Luke blamed it on himself in Last Jedi. He's like,
yeah, but a lot of people didn't like that.
It's because
that thought process. They're like, he was evil anyway. And I'm like, no. He just had some issues that he
had some daddy issues and some mommy issues.
He just needed a counselor.
Yes, he did.
He didn't need to be almost murdered by his uncle.
Very true. Then Leia, she saw a vision that Ben was going to die when she completed her Jedi training. Which then she said, I'm not going to be a Jedi anymore. So she stopped her Jedi training, which thus caused the downfall of Ben turning into Kylo. And so the hubris of the Skywalkers is that they believe that since they're from the Force, because Anakin was of the Force, that they can be stronger than and outpredict the Force. When in all honesty, the Force is saying, if you just did what you were supposed to do, everything would have been fine. And I'm pretty sure that she froze again. Did you freeze again?
Yeah, I'm gonna join on my phone.
There we go. Bet it works.
You know, because it'll be like 7 minutes before.
Yeah, it's only a few minutes before we gotta stop. So,
the probably tanked, but you know,
it's the way it goes.
It is what it is.
So, I just basically was saying that because Anakin was of the Force. They believe that they could beat the Force in the predictions of the Force, but the Force is like, no, because you feel this way, you're actually proving the prediction to be correct.
Really, Star Wars is the story of how one family's drama ruined everyone's life. Literally everybody.
Oh no, it's so true though. It really is. It really, really is. It's... Dang. It's the way it goes. There we go.
Something reconnected. I heard it beep in my headphones, but I'm just gonna stay here.
Good. We can actually... This is not a bad spot for us to end if you'd like to end tonight, because I know that things are giving you trouble.
My internet hates me, apparently.
You guys need curtain rods.
Yes, we do need curtain rods.
So
maybe that'll stop the internet from overheating.
There's the dream. All right, well, that's where we'll call it this week, folks. Diffuse, again, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us. We very much appreciated it.
Yes,
very nice. We finally have had our first call-in viewer. So see, guys, it's not too bad. You guys can call in anytime, and we would love to hear from you guys. If you guys ever have any questions for us that we have not answered or that you'd like us to speculate on, please tweet at us. We have both of our Twitters on the screen page, or they'll be in the show notes for you. That all being said, we hope that you guys have a great day, stay awesome, do great things, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
May the Force be with you.
Always. Adios.
Goodbye.